The galaxy had long held a rule whispered across star systems, carried in the cautious advice of every empire, every trader, every warship captain who survived long enough to tell the tale: never wake the humans. For centuries, the species had been observed from the shadows, catalogued, monitored, noted for their unpredictability and capacity to endure where others fell. They lived on worlds of extremes, adapted to conditions that would have broken countless other civilizations, and their technology, born from necessity and ingenuity, often defied classification. Then the Zyrran Empire chose to ignore the rule. They did not approach cautiously. They did not consider the lessons of history. With fleets of polished, geometrically perfect ships and weapons designed to subdue, they struck, claiming dominance, confident that a single display of power would force compliance. Humanity noticed. Humanity responded, not with panic. Not with surrender. With observation. With patience. Their ships, patched and scarred from previous encounters with the unforgiving universe, glided through space with the deliberate calm of creatures who understood survival better than any empire. Zyrran fleets advanced in formation, expecting chaos to follow. Chaos did not come. Instead, humans moved like water flowing through a sieve, slipping through gaps, exploiting gravitational anomalies, threading through defenses that had never before been tested. Sensors overloaded. Algorithms calculated endless paths, only to be proven irrelevant. Every move of the humans seemed random to the untrained eye, yet each was deliberate, precise, and devastating in its implication. Humanity did not need overwhelming numbers or superior firepower. They possessed something far older, far more resilient: understanding. The Zyrran fleets tried to engage, to demonstrate superiority, but the humans had already adapted. They anticipated every vector, every counter, every trap. Shields that had been designed to absorb the might of entire star systems failed to predict the humans' ingenuity. Each encounter became a lesson, a revelation that the galaxy had long misunderstood a force it had sought to suppress. Across war-torn space, the humans did not conquer. They did not raise. They endured. They adapted. They learned, and, in doing so, they demonstrated a principle far more profound than any weapon: that survival was not granted, it was earned. Every system they passed remained intact, yet every empire, every fleet, every observer recognized the subtle influence of their presence. The Zyrran command, once so confident, now watched with a mix of awe and dread as human vessels moved with patience and precision. Even when trapped, even when confronted with overwhelming odds, they moved with calm certainty. The human strategy was not to destroy, but to outlast, to outthink, to teach without a word. And to endure without faltering. Legends long whispered on fringe worlds became reality. Humanity could survive what others could not, thrive where others failed, and endure where the galaxy expected nothing but defeat. Each calculated risk, each improvisation, each moment of quiet reflection in the void revealed an intelligence that blended courage with wisdom, instinct with moral clarity. As the Zyrran Empire reeled from the consequences of their folly, humanity accelerated beyond the borders of observation. Fleets attempted pursuit, but prediction was impossible. Calculations failed. No empire could contain a species that moved beyond the rules of conventional understanding. Humanity did not seek conquest. They sought survival, mastery of circumstance, and, in passing, a reminder to the galaxy of a simple truth: some forces cannot be woken without consequence. And as the stars settled into silence, the galaxy understood that rule too late: never underestimate humans. The Zyrran Empire scrambled every fleet and activated every sensor, but humanity's ships flowed through the outer sectors like shadows that refused definition. Each vessel bore scars of previous journeys, patchwork hulls, burn marks, and improvised repairs, yet moved with a calm precision that confounded every prediction. Dominion models, perfected over centuries, collapsed under observation. Every calculation, every assumption, every contingency proved inadequate. Fleets attempted to trap them, forming layered nets of energy and firepower designed to crush any incursion. Humans did not fight. They did not panic. They moved with fluid purpose, exploiting gaps, bending through gravitational anomalies, and threading through formations that were meant to be impenetrable. Each move revealed flaws in the Empire's logic, gaps that could not exist, yet did. Sensors reported impossible readings. Instruments spun into error, unable to reconcile mass, speed, and trajectory. Dominion commanders tried new strategies, altered formations mid-flight, deployed decoys and countermeasures, yet the humans adapted instantly. Their passage was not reckless, it was inevitable. Every action carried understanding, every choice carried foresight. In one heavily monitored system, a human vessel slowed. Not to attack, not to negotiate, but to observe. Dominion fleets flared shields, weapons locked, ready to obliterate, yet the humans remained calm. They scanned, catalogued, and adjusted, teaching without aggression, demonstrating that intelligence and endurance were weapons beyond firepower. Reports from sensors and observers began to converge. Humans did not merely survive, they mastered the chaos of the galaxy, navigating obstacles that would destroy lesser species. Fleets following them faltered, trapped in their own assumptions. As if reality itself resisted the humans' passage, across the Empire, a single truth emerged. Humanity had crossed into Zyrran space and revealed a force that could not be contained, predicted, or dismissed. They endured not by overwhelming might, but by intelligence, adaptability, and an unshakable will to survive. And as the human fleet continued forward, silent, relentless, the Empire understood that crossing them was no longer a challenge, it was a mistake they would never recover from. The human fleet advanced, deeper and faster than the Zyrran Empire anticipated, moving with an almost eerie coordination that seemed both chaotic and deliberate. Fleets designed to intercept them faltered as the humans exploited gaps and weaknesses that had never been accounted for. Every maneuver was precise, yet unpredictable, revealing a mastery of space and circumstance that no algorithm could emulate. Dominion sensors reported anomalies, ships moving faster than possible, warships disappearing from tracking, energy signatures bending in ways that contradicted known physics. Commanders attempted to recalibrate, to anticipate, to trap, but each effort only highlighted the limits of their knowledge. Humanity did not fight, they flowed, they adapted, they endured. In a contested system, human vessels slowed near a heavily fortified station. Dominion fleets braced for confrontation, expecting immediate aggression. But the humans merely observed, scanning and analyzing. Repairing what had been damaged, stabilizing failing infrastructure, and leaving no trace of conquest. Every act carried intention, yet no harm. Dominion observers were left with a chilling realization: these beings could outthink, outlast, and outmaneuver them without firing a single shot. Attempts to force engagement escalated. Fleets converged in tighter formations, energy beams primed, yet the humans navigated with calm inevitability. Every blockade became a path. Every threat became a guide. Dominion strategists, once confident in centuries of dominance, watched their calculations fail in real time. Humanity was rewriting the rules simply by existing and moving. Historians within the Zyrran Empire pieced together fragments of old legends, stories of humans enduring where others perished. Surviving environments that should have killed them, thriving under conditions that no other species could. Now these legends were no longer myth, they were unfolding in real time before fleets and command centers alike. As human ships pressed onward, leaving fleets scrambling to keep pace, the Empire realized a fundamental truth: they were facing not invaders, not conquerors, but a force defined by resilience, intelligence, and moral clarity. Survival was their weapon, and endurance their strategy, and with every calculated move, the humans sent an unmistakable message across the stars: they could not be contained, and they would not be underestimated. The Zyrran Empire had mobilized every asset at its disposal, fleets of gleaming warships, advanced sensor arrays, orbital weapons platforms, and fleets of artificial intelligences designed to anticipate every conceivable threat. Every calculation, every prediction, every defensive strategy had been meticulously crafted to maintain control. Yet, as the human fleet advanced deeper into Dominion space, it became painfully clear that none of it would matter. the human vessels moved with a rhythm that seemed improvised yet entirely intentional, weaving through dense asteroid fields, navigating gravity wells, and exploiting anomalies that would have trapped any other fleet. Dominion commanders recalculated trajectories, adjusted shields, and repositioned warships repeatedly. Yet the humans always found openings that should not have existed. Every attempt to corner them ended in failure, as if the galaxy itself had aligned with their will. In one strategic cluster of systems, the humans slowed, not to attack, but to observe. They repaired abandoned stations, stabilized decaying orbital networks, and rerouted hazardous energy flows without leaving a trace of destruction. Dominion sensors, unable to comprehend these actions as anything other than deliberate, reported impossible readings. Fleets sent to engage found themselves misaligned, unable to predict where a human vessel would appear next. The humans did not just survive, they commanded circumstance with a subtlety that defied the Empire's understanding of power. Command centers across the sector buzzed with confusion. Analysts recalculated endlessly, only to watch their predictions collapse again and again. Historians dug into the oldest archives, searching for legends of humans who had thrived in environments that should have destroyed them. What they found matched what they were witnessing now, a species born of adversity, honed by survival, and defined by resilience that could not be measured in firepower alone. The humans did not fight. They adapted. They endured. Every maneuver, every adjustment, every calculated pause revealed an intelligence that was both practical and profound. Dominion fleets, despite their overwhelming numbers, seemed cumbersome and inflexible in comparison. Each encounter reinforced a single inescapable truth: humanity's strength was not in domination, but in the mastery of endurance, the wisdom to act with precision, and the moral clarity to survive without unnecessary destruction. As the human fleet continued, weaving through the Empire's defenses with calculated elegance, a quiet tension settled across the Zyrran command. Centuries of doctrine and strategy were inadequate against beings who operated by principles the Empire could not model. Humanity was not merely moving through space, they were rewriting the rules of presence, survival, and power. Reports trickled down from planetary systems along the fleet's path, lights flickering in cities. Energy readings fluctuating, fleeting glimpses of ships that seemed almost alive. Civilians and soldiers alike felt awe and fear mingled together. The humans were teaching without words, demonstrating without force, and in every subtle act, proving that some forces could not be contained or predicted. By the time the fleet reached the outer edge of the sector, the Empire's fleets were exhausted, their strategies obsolete, their confidence shattered. The humans had crossed into Zyrran space, navigated its defenses flawlessly, endured its calculated attacks, and emerged unbroken. They were not conquerors. They were survivors. They were teachers, and in the silence that followed, the galaxy learned a new truth: intelligence, endurance, and moral clarity could surpass fleets, weapons, and centuries of dominance. Some forces are inevitable, and humans are one of them. The human fleet pressed onward, deeper into Zyrran territory, a river of patched, battle-worn ships flowing with precision and purpose that defied every calculation. Every sector they entered became a canvas of subtle mastery, stations repaired without occupation, orbital networks stabilized, hazards rerouted with care, and every system left intact while the Empire's fleet scrambled helplessly behind them. Dominion strategists recalculated endlessly, but every formula collapsed under the humans' unpredictability. Fleets meant to intercept them found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Energy nets designed to trap human vessels were threaded with ease, gravitational mines and anomalies that should have destroyed them became avenues of movement. Every maneuver was deliberate, yet appeared spontaneous, a combination of instinct, experience, and unshakable confidence. The Empire's artificial intelligences, designed to predict and control, failed repeatedly, their algorithms rendered irrelevant by a species that did not operate by predictable logic. In one heavily fortified system, a human vessel slowed. Not to fight, not to communicate, but to observe. Dominion commanders braced for aggression, their weapons primed, their fleets ready to annihilate. The humans, however, merely adjusted the system's failing orbital stations, repaired damage from previous conflicts, and left subtle energy realignments that preserved life below. They were masters of survival and influence, teaching without force, commanding without dominance. Across multiple systems, Dominion fleets began to falter. Calculations that once ensured victory became meaningless. The humans were not simply surviving, they were redefining what it meant to endure, to move, and to exist in a galaxy that had believed itself predictable and controlled. Legends whispered on fringe worlds of humans thriving in environments that would have killed others were now realities unfolding in real time before fleets. Stations and command centers, the human fleet's advance was relentless yet measured. Every vessel moved with purpose, every crew member executing decisions that balanced risk, opportunity, and preservation. Dominion commanders watched in growing dread as centuries of military doctrine failed spectacularly. Their empires, built on certainty and control, were being unraveled by beings who thrived on adaptability, foresight, and moral clarity. Attempts to force engagement escalated. Fleets converged with overwhelming firepower. Weapons systems flared. Calculations predicted annihilation. Yet the humans flowed through every threat, turning potential traps into safe passage, demonstrating mastery that no amount of technology or strategy could replicate. The Empire realized, at last, that they were not facing invaders or conquerors, they were facing inevitability itself. As the fleet crossed into uncharted sectors, leaving Dominion fleets struggling to comprehend, the galaxy felt the weight of a new truth. Intelligence, endurance, and unyielding will could surpass empires, fleets, and centuries of assumed superiority. Humanity did not conquer through violence, they conquered through survival, understanding, and demonstration of a force that could not be contained. And as the stars stretched behind them, the humans moved forward, a living testament to resilience and mastery, leaving the Dominion with one undeniable lesson: survival is the greatest power. And humans wielded effortlessly. The human fleet advanced beyond the outermost defenses of the Zyrran Empire, a river of scarred and patched vessels moving with a confidence that unsettled even the most experienced commanders. Every sector they traversed became a testament to ingenuity and endurance. Orbital networks stabilized, failing stations repaired, and energy flows rerouted with precision that left the Empire's forces baffled. Every fleet movement the Dominion attempted was anticipated and circumvented, exposing the limits of calculations perfected over centuries. In dense star clusters, human ships threaded through gravitational anomalies, asteroid fields, and radiation belts as if space itself bent to their understanding. Fleets that had been considered invincible faltered under their presence, instruments reporting impossible trajectories, energy readings defying comprehension, and sensors failing to reconcile mass and velocity. Dominion commanders attempted new strategies, but every maneuver was anticipated, every trap neutralized, every expectation subverted. Humanity moved as if the galaxy itself had no rules to enforce upon them. In one heavily monitored system, human vessels hovered near the remnants of a war-torn colony. They did not attack. They did not occupy. Instead, they repaired orbital defenses, stabilized decaying habitats, and redirected hazardous anomalies away from inhabited worlds. Every act was deliberate, calculated, and performed without aggression. Dominion observers recorded these events in stunned silence. The humans were redefining presence in space, teaching without confrontation, mastering without force. Attempts to engage escalated. Entire fleets converged, weapons primed, shields at maximum. Dominion strategists predicted victory. The humans adjusted. Not with retaliation, but with seamless movement that turned threats into safe passage, transforming potential destruction into calculated navigation. Fleets designed to crush them became obstacles to be used, every trap a lesson in adaptability. Command centers, once bastions of certainty, were left in chaos. Algorithms failing as they attempted to predict beings who operated beyond conventional logic. Across sectors, historians pieced together the narrative from fragmented archives and sensors. Legends of humans surviving on Deathworlds, thriving where other species perished, and enduring circumstances that should have broken them were no longer myth. They were reality. The humans' path revealed not just survival, but a mastery of circumstance, a moral clarity that elevated endurance into strategy. Humanity's power lay not in destruction but in the ability to persist, adapt, and prevail without surrendering principles or ethics, as the fleet continued into uncharted space, leaving Dominion fleets behind. Exhausted and bewildered, a profound truth crystallized across the Empire: no weapon, no fleet, no algorithm could contain a species that moved beyond prediction, beyond expectation, beyond fear. They had entered, not as conquerors, but as inevitabilities. Every movement, every decision, every pause reflected a force that respected life while commanding survival, an intelligence that combined courage with wisdom, and a presence that could not be ignored. And as the stars stretched endlessly ahead, the human fleet disappeared into the void, leaving the Zyrran Empire to reckon with the one lesson they could never escape: humans endure, and nothing can stop them.